so first it's more about status updates than Twitter, because if you think about it, Twitter has made the status update open. So what are you doing now? I'm filming this with you now. Was really opened by Twitter the most, but now it's embraced by MySpace, by Yahoo, by LinkedIn. This week they announced it. They have status updates also linked to Twitter, by all the social software, by Facebook obviously.
Yeah.
40 million status updates are posted a day. And so I think that's the story. The story is that we will all be posting more and more status updates. We'll see hundreds of millions of status updates a day. And I think we will laugh at the time where we were updating them all, those sites individually. And that's the problem we're trying to solve with Seesmic, is to help people post to all of those and get the feedback to all of those, because I'm having the problem myself every day. So
and I'm using Ping FM for this actually.
It's really great. I love it. I use it too.
Yep.
Yeah, I use it too. It's very good.
But you will include other services within Seesmic, so
yeah, we already added Facebook on Seesmic desktop.
Yeah.
We're adding Facebook on Seesmic web. We're adding multi-account on Seesmic web, and we will keep adding more services. We will also add Ping FM. It's already in Twill, Ping FM, and we will add it so that you can post to all of those, plus and more. And now about the future of Twitter, I think it's just fantastic that it's a local news source. Like you could see, so we're in Bucharest right now. You could say, I want to know what's happening in this neighborhood, and that's a local source of information that no media has at all. And I think that's fascinating, because as I was saying yesterday, and my friend Matthias here retweeted me, is that the professional media and the journalists are now a minority, like by far, right? They kind of were with blogging, but not so much. That blogging has not exploded the way status updates and Twitter is exploding, because it's so easy to do. Anyone can do it, and this is why Evan Williams and Biz have an objective of having 1 billion users. I think they can reach that, because you can in Africa update Twitter if you want with a text message.
yeah, but simple SMS or everything.
So I think it's going to be everywhere. That's the first prediction, which is kind of obvious, but I really think it's going to be really big in all the social software. Change completely the media landscape in terms of transparency. There's always someone, which can be annoying at times, but which can post very easily to Twitter or to a social software. Basically, you don't need a blog anymore to have a community. And I think the news is that everybody will realize that having a community is such a fantastic thing, that it helps you find a job. For example, I know so many people who found jobs because they have been updating, and having a community around them. It helps you find partnerships. Like I needed a partnership for my conference on web with Air France. I just tweeted, does anyone know anyone at Air France? I didn't know anyone. It took 1 hour. I got 2 people help me, friends. And why do they help you? Because you help them. Right? It starts by sharing, as you know. And I think people realize that, and brands will finally consider that word of mouth is probably the most important thing, much more important than advertising. And so I find it fascinating.
Yeah. Twitter is a great tool, no doubt. It's great for building a community, but I'm quite amazed that you say there's actually no need for a blog anymore, because there is still a 140 char limit, and you cannot use it for every kind of news. For in-depth analysis is quite difficult to do on Twitter, I guess.
Well, but look at but it's difficult to do in-depth analysis on traditional media as well. If you look at as I was explaining yesterday, the shootings in Texas last week, the news was shut down because it was military, so someone started shooting, and then as it was military, they shut down all the news. So there was only an official spokesperson who could release news, and there was a soldier twittering in the hospital, and what he was twittering was entirely wrong. So wrong information. He was really twittering that someone was shot in the balls. There's a tweet like that, and also took a picture of someone wounded. It was horrible, honestly. And Paul Carr talked about that in TechCrunch, and very, very good post. And but worse, the traditional media actually took that, and it was relayed on traditional media because it was the only source. And so they didn't do a better job. You see what I mean? And then it took a few days to actually realize everything was wrong.
Yeah.
So traditional media and Twitter. So I think that yes, Twitter has a lot of bullshit in it, but it's not traditional media as well.
Yeah, definitely.
What I like is that I don't have a filter anymore, so I can basically learn. Basically, what we need to learn is to be more, to have more analysis on the information. And I think if it's coming from you, I will trust it more because we're friends, and I won't trust it by default if it's someone I don't know. So I think this is why we're going back on the reputation. People will find sources on Twitter that they trust, and like if you tweet something, I'll trust it. You see what I mean? if someone in the street tweets something, maybe not.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna happen, and it's not about professionalism or not. Like for tech, I trust so much more the tech bloggers than the press, right? Or the monthly press. You know, all those monthly paper magazines. Do you read that? No one reads that.
There's actually one.
Not even my mother.
There's one German magazine, CD, which is actually really good, but apart from that, it's
Okay.
it's hard to find.
I have new friends today.
May I ask a question as well?
Sure.
It's a collaborative conversation.
I wanted to ask you, isn't it a problem that such an important central communication infrastructure is owned by a single company?
I don't think it's that important for the same reason I was explaining before, is that it's going to be decentralized. It's going to be on Yahoo, on MySpace, on LinkedIn, on Facebook.
Interoperable?
That's the thing. They sold that with IM, right? Kind of.
Yeah. But this is what Identica is currently trying, to establish this interoperable thing.
It's not too big.
Yeah.
I think Twitter is open enough that we don't have to worry.
Yeah, but if
it goes
all
bust.
the data, yeah, exactly. Well, and if there's a big hard drive crash or a huge.
So that is what you're saying is interesting, because we actually think as a service to our users, we will release a backup of everything you do. I think it's a cool idea. How much would you pay for that? No, I'm just. But yeah, backing up everything is important. But I think status updates. My goal for Seesmic is to post 1 million status updates a day in the coming months. And
okay, that's a lot.
I actually think by my estimation we already had 500,000 a day.
Yeah. Wow.
For our 2 clients. Yeah.
If it's so decentralized, Seesmic could eventually become a threat to, or one of the threats to Twitter in terms of saying, look, now we're big enough to do it ourselves. And if the other folks are doing, we're doing it ourselves.
No, we're really focusing on the client bot, and Twitter is really focusing on the server infrastructure.
Yeah.
And I think they're really open enough. Look, they have made Facebook open because Facebook wasn't that open. I think the next big thing which will open now is your social graph. So your address book, basically, right? Twitter is open for that. I can
take it from A to B.
Yeah, I can know who you're following and who follows you, but I don't know that on Facebook. I cannot export it. On Twitter, I can. So I think that's the next thing that Twitter will make open. And why would I have to redo my network on LinkedIn and Facebook? It's a pain. So.
Yeah.
What do you think about monetization? I mean, the whole Twitter team has been very open about this issue as well. There are more and more companies popping up, which sell advertising space on Twitter. I'm not sure if this makes any sense, but I got offered $300 for a single tweet a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, I was on holiday, so I couldn't send it out. But at some point, Twitter themselves will be forced to make some money. How do you think that could work? Will it be premium accounts or advertising? What's more likely?
They have kind of hinted. So first, it's Evan is keeping this very secret, and we had it was fun. We had a presentation at Twitter last week in front of a whole team. So we presented what we do with Seesmic and also all the products which we're going to launch in the next weeks. And Evan asked me my business model. So it was kind of fun for me. It's like, hey Loic, what's your business model? And I said, well, hey Evan, what's your business model?
Actually, what is your business model? That's a good question.
But well, if I answer like Evan, it's gonna be very. But they have hinted that they will do premium accounts for companies, with more features in it, and I think we can be a great reseller of that.
Yeah.
Because we have the eyeballs. Our users are a few 100,000 people a day already. And it's 3 million downloads, but obviously it's less users. But it's a few 100,000 people, but some of them spend 5 hours a day on it. I know it, we see it, and that has a lot of value in terms of selling, services. I'm trying to do it as less intrusive as possible. So we're actually already generating some revenue.
Okay.
Yeah. And we will have premium accounts. You should take a shot of that. It's really nice.
Yeah, you're right.
What is it? Second largest building in the world.
Yeah, I think the Pentagon is bigger, but
the Bucharest, the Romanian Parliament. It's kind of huge. I should have